like to call.
Thank you, Madam President. Mrs. Carrier?
Here.
Mr. Levy? Mr. Methvin? Mr. Vetter?
Here.
And Mrs. Mazur.
Stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Microphones are on. Okay, we have no visitors but the regulars. Nice to see you all. Principal reports.
I want to say nose goes. Let's see. I'll start. I haven't started in a while. Tomorrow starts our fall third grade state testing. So yes, tomorrow starts our third grade fall testing. Oh, yeah, that's not great. And we will test tomorrow and Wednesday. I wanted to take a moment just to recognize and brag about our teachers with a special shout out to Jamie Altman for the direction of our structured literacy program, which was formerly called Title. The growth demonstrated from the beginning of the school year to the score of the following year decides our K-3 literacy support or state report card. So I guess I just wanted to give you a few stats. 51% of our current second grade students, when they were in first grade last year, we only had 51% they were identified as off track. So this year, when they tested as beginning second grade students, now we only have 10% of our current second grade students identified as off track. So 90% of our current second grade students are on track. And the score, I truly believe, is a reflection of our revamped intervention program. So a huge thank you to Jamie for the vision, and a huge thanks to our teachers for trusting the process, because it was a very different process. For example, what we did, most schools will do their beginning of the year benchmarking right when school starts that first week. We did 3 weeks of really high intense interventions, and then we benchmarked. So it kind of got the kiddos back into a routine after summer break. So in support of a healthy, drug-free Kids Red Ribbon Week will be celebrated starting next week. On Monday, a variety of activities are planned for the week, including hay rides, cider and donuts. Many of our community businesses are coming in to participate in another trunk or treat for our preschool through fourth grade students. On Tuesday, we also have Rachel's Challenge, an assembly that's going to be district-wide. All students will attend. It will be on Tuesday. Mr. Tier is going to provide some additional information, but this assembly was created after the Columbine High School shooting in honor of Rachel Scott and the other victims lost. But after Rachel's death, her family discovered multiple diaries that she had kept about just wanting kindness and compassion in our world. So we're pretty excited to have that assembly. Friday also completes our week with our third annual fun run. Students and teachers are encouraged to support their favorite team in their clothing attire with tennis shoes. The event will happen sprinkle or shine. Parents, grandparents, and any community members are welcome to attend to cheer their kiddos on. Just a lot of individuals to thank for that week: Maddie Bragg, our Hicksville PTO, Melissa Crawford, and our community businesses for participating in our trunk or treat. We also have Veterans Day coming up on Monday, November 11th. We are excited to make a few changes this year. This year, the assembly will begin at 10 a.m. in the high school gymnasium. And then following the assembly, our veterans, along with any students that they are connected with, will participate in a very light brunch in the field house. So I encourage veterans to RSVP through the link that's on our Facebook page, as well as I am sending out a variety of messages through our staff and through our students. So to use that link to RSVP. And if not, feel free to call the elementary office at 419-542-7475.
Thank you, Kirsten.
On the middle school side, this Thursday, our middle school teachers will be presenting Copying Essential Awards to our deserving students. Each teacher in the middle school, much like they did last year, has selected one of the 24 essentials to focus on in their classrooms. And on Thursday, each teacher is going to present an award to the student that has best exemplified that specific essential in their classroom. They'll present those to them at lunch, so we're excited to see that. Like Ms. Kaufman said, on Tuesday, October 29th, the middle school and high school will also be attending assemblies conducted by Rachel's Challenge. They'll be separate, so the middle school will go to one, high school will go to another, and elementary will be separate as well. And really the only thing I have to add is that it's on school violence and suicide prevention, which is really a focus at the state level and also our district level. And this is a way for us to bring in a nationally known organization to provide that support that we know our students might be needing. On Friday, November 1st, we are really excited about this. Our sixth graders are going to be participating in a wax museum. Mrs. Turnbull has headed this up. Each sixth grader has chosen an influential person from past or present. They've completed a biography on this person, created a timeline, organized a costume and floor plan, created and memorized a speech, and then they will present this at the Wax Museum. And we are really excited to see our sixth graders present these and show off all their hard work. And parents are going to be able to come in and see this. There's going to be an hour in that time frame that they're presenting that parents can come and watch, and that information will be mailed out shortly with all those details. So we're really excited for this. And finally, the only other thing I have is our students 5 through 8 are in the qualifying stages of our spelling bee for the 24-25 school year. Our school spelling bee will be Wednesday, November 27th, the day before Thanksgiving in the morning. And then the winner of our school spelling bee will move on to the county and regional spelling bees. But right now we're in the early qualifying stages of who's going to make our school bee on the 27th. So we're excited about that.
I'm excited the Wax Museum's coming
Yeah,
back.
very
It's
cool.
been a while.
Yeah, we're excited.
I've been very engaged in that.
I was going to say, I know a couple of you have.
Yep.
Just so it doesn't melt. Like the commercial.
No melting.
Maybe some meltdowns. Aaron?
All right, good evening, everybody. Fall sports quickly coming to an end in the high school. Our varsity volleyball team is competing in the district semifinals tomorrow night at Defiance High School at 6 p.m., where they will take on Sonora. Our varsity cross-country team just competed at districts this past Saturday, with senior Alex Ross advancing on to regionals. Regionals is this coming Saturday, 10 a.m. at Tiffin. So we luck Alex. And then our varsity football team has their last regular season game this Friday at home against Fairview at 7 p.m. First round of our annual innovative interviews with the sophomores occurred this past Wednesday. Students made their rounds to various business leaders and community members during their scheduled block, and then they were scored on their interview abilities. 8 students advanced to the semifinals, which are this Friday at EFW, and then they're going to compete to advance to the finals, which will be held in the spring, where they join the finalists from semester 2. So I'd like to thank all the judges that come out. A lot of them come every single year, every semester to help us out with that, and a big shout out to Josh Breeze for making that a success. It's really cool to see our kids get excited about it, and students who don't necessarily enjoy going to class every day are so excited to dress up that day and tell you how they did. So it's really cool to see. So thank you to all that were involved with that. This morning, 14 juniors and seniors were tapped to become new members of our National Honor Society chapter. So congratulations to them. Very exciting for these students and for our chapter. All 14 will be inducted at the annual induction ceremony on November 13th at 6 p.m. And then the high school and middle school will also be celebrating Red Ribbon Week next week, as is the elementary. They will have themed dress-up days and student activities and games planned by our school counselors during lunchtime. So we encourage all of our students to participate and join in the fun while also demonstrating their commitment to remain drug-free. Our high school academic team is gearing up for their annual Hicksville quiz tournament. It's one of the largest in the state of Ohio. At last count, I just got an email last week, there were 42 teams signed up to come and participate in the day-long tournament. It's held here at the school on Saturday, November 16th. So if anybody is interested in helping out, possibly being a reader, Mrs. Laney would love to have your help, so please feel free to contact her.
How many schools did you say?
42 teams, but a lot of those do have JV and varsity teams, so I don't know how many schools specifically. But
Still 42 teams is a lot.
yeah, and we can accommodate up to 48. I'll be reading JV. I told her to keep me off of varsity. Quarter one is ending this Friday, October 25th. I encourage all of our students to finish strong. And this year we're going to be rewarding all of our students who earn honor roll with a different treat. And that is thanks to the generous donation from our Hicksville PTO. So this first quarter, they will be receiving an invite to Morning Donuts on November 1st, those who receive honor roll in high school. Our first Student of the Quarter luncheon for middle school and high school is this Friday. I'd like to thank our sponsors that we have lined up for this year for all of the various luncheons, and those are Emco Food Equipment, Hicksville Fraternal Order of the Eagles, Parker Hannafin, Subway of Hicksville, and then the Hicksville Athletic Department. So thank you to all of those for your donations for making that luncheon possible. And then finally, our high school musical is just a couple short weeks away. This year they will be performing Anything Goes at the Huber. Performances are November 1st at 7 p.m., November 2nd at 7 p.m., and then November 3rd at 2 p.m. Tickets are $15 sold at the door, general admission. It's sure to be an enjoyable show. I got to watch a couple of their practices already, and a little comedy in there as well, and I'm excited to see our students in the full performance, so I encourage everyone to come out and support them. That's all I got.
Good evening. At the beginning of this month, elementary held their first multi-tiered system of support conferences, also called MTSS conferences. They were formerly known as RTI conferences. With these conferences, teachers identify students needing additional support based on classroom performance assessments and observe challenges in areas like academics or behavior. During the MTSS meetings, the team reviews data collected to help determine appropriate interventions, accommodations, or modifications. Next steps may include additional interventions, screenings for conditions like executive function weaknesses, ADHD, anxiety, or screeners on present reading and or math skills. In some cases, the team may recommend a full evaluation to determine eligibility for special education services. Any next steps, including screeners or evaluations, are communicated with parents by the team or the classroom teacher. And then we'll check on these students, their data, and see if progress is being made in the area or areas of concern at our next NTSS conference in January. Now on to some Spirit Shop news for you all. I'm pleased to report that our Spirit Shop has been operational at least twice weekly, and some weeks we've been able to be open to the public 3 or 4 times. In less than 2 months, we have already seen great success. I am optimistic that sales will continue to grow as we move into the basketball season. Spirit Shop has not only received positive feedback from visiting school fans, but I have also seen how it has boosted school pride among our staff, students, and parents. I would like to extend a huge thank you to you guys, the board members, for supporting this initiative, which has greatly enhanced school spirit and pride at Hicksville. I would also like to thank our wonderful community for patronizing and supporting the Hicksville Spirit Shop.
Thank you very much, all of you. Eric?
Just real brief, keep all the staff and students of Fort County in your thoughts and prayers here. There was an incident with a staff member. Just your mind. So.
Yes, we had a successful trip to the Ron Clark Academy last month. We all can truly claim that we survived a hurricane because we were there during the hurricane. It made it different than in the past. So all the schools in Atlanta closed Thursday and Friday, except for that. They stayed open with kids, and so we did all of our classroom visits with kids on Thursday. And then on Friday, we did all of our workshops with the adults. And so it made it kind of, it was different, but it made it kind of nice because the workshops with the adults were longer. So you kind of got a different feel than we typically had in the past. But it was very good. And as always, they were really impressed. No hiccups with the hurricane until we got to Detroit. And then our flight from Detroit to Fort Wayne was canceled at 11 o'clock at night, and we weren't going to stay there, so we hitchhiked home. Okay, we rented a car. I also attended the BASA Fall Conference like I do every year, and the best part about the conference this year was the speaker, who was Damon West. I don't know if you've ever heard him. He wrote a book collectively with John Gordon, who I'm sure you've probably heard of, titled The Coffee Bean, and he had quite a story, quite a message. It was very good. And then the other workshops throughout the rest of the conference were also very informative. Big focus on Senate Bill 29, and with attorneys and different people that were there for that. And that brings me to my last item, which is the requirements for Senate Bill 29. We sent those out to parents and teachers today. The Ohio Senate Bill 29 was passed by the Ohio General Assembly and goes into effect on October 24th, so just a couple days from now. This bill addresses how school districts and other technology providers can electronically access and monitor certain features of student school-issued devices. So parents are to be notified by the administration if a student's computer, within 72 hours, if a student's computer is monitored for any reason other than regular daily schoolwork during the school day. So there's a lot to learn with this, and I'm sure it's going to be, I feel bad for big city schools because I think it's going to be a problem for them. But I think we'll be okay, because generally everything that we do here during the day is when we monitor kids, so it's okay for us to do that then. For student monitoring for assignments and helping them. So, that's all I have.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to minutes and financials. If I could have a motion, please.
All set.
We, of course, have to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting from September 19th. We have the treasurer's consent agenda items, cash reconciliation as of September 30th, 2024, financial statements for September 2024, to approve amended official certificate of estimated sources for fiscal year 2025 as presented, total general fund resources of $18,760,122.42, and total resources for all funds of $23,591. $97.71. Approve fiscal year 2025 permanent appropriations as presented. Total general fund appropriations of $14,451,389.05, and total appropriations for all funds of $17,092,027.42. Approve to increase athletic change fund from $1,500 to $2,000. And approve the following then and now certificate for the vendor Rachel's Challenge in the amount of $4,800 for the district assembly that was spoken of earlier. To accept the following donations: $50 from Stephen Ayers for girls basketball, $100 from Eric and Renee Washler for volleyball, $150 from Bobby Ayers for girls basketball, $400 from an anonymous donor for band, $500 from Jim Schmidt Family Dealerships for 7th and 8th grade incentive, $500 from Defiance County Farm Bureau for the FFA program, $528.75 from the Hicksville High School class of 1959 for ceremonial flags and stands, $600 from the PTO for high school honor roll incentives, $750 from Barbara Sen for the FFA program, $800 from B&K Whitman Enterprises for volleyball, $882 from Kirk and Lisa Collins for football, $1,000 from Eric and Ruth Ann Pearman for the FFA program. So a lot of support for the FFA program coming in. Discussion. No. All right, roll call, please. Oh, Mike, do you have any questions on this?
No, I don't.
Perfect.
Okay. Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. The employment of certified staff, a motion, please.
Move.
Recommend to approve an addendum to the superintendent's contract effective August 1st, 2024 through July 31st, 2026. Recommend to approve the following supplemental contract for the 24-25 school year for Jennifer Cunningham for Assistant Athletic Director. Discussion. No questions? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. I need another motion.
I'll move. I'll second.
Recommend to approve Nolan Clark Methvin as the certified substitute for the 24-25 school year.
A lot of discussion here.
Yeah. That child, I tell you. Okay, roll call, please.
I just want to interject. Galen, you probably want to abstain on this
I'm
one?
going to.
Okay.
That's why I moved.
Yeah, that's-
I wanted to move it, but just
Okay.
abstain. So.
All right. Mr. Methvin?
Abstain.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 4-0 with one abstention. Moving on to the employment of classified staff. I need, thank you, Jen. Second?
I'll second.
Recommend to approve the resignation from Destiny Wales as co-cheerleading advisor, grade 7 to 8, for the remainder of the 24-25 school year. Recommend to rescind the following supplemental contract for the 24-25 school year for Mallory Sarche, co-cheerleading advisor, grades 7 to 8. Recommend to approve the following supplemental contracts for the 24-25 school year. James Egley for Mini Aces Wrestling, Mallory Sheree Sarche as cheerleading advisor, grades 7 to 8. I know some of these kids a little bit better than I should. Recommend to approve the following as classified substitutes for the 24-25 school year. Randy Guilford, Letitia Somm, Cecilia Waters, and Caitlin White. Discussion? No? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. We have an addendum for the employment of classified staff, and I do need a motion for this. Thank you, Galen. Thank you, Jen. Recommend to approve the retirement resignation from Anita Daniels as secretary with her last day of employment to be December 31st, 2024. Discussion.
38.
Thank you to Anita for 38 years.
That's a very long time, starting at the elementary school and working her way. Yeah, that's a lot
I could
of
say
patience.
lots, but I'm not. I've been with her for a long, long time. She was my elementary secretary, and I'm going to miss her.
Okay, any other discussion? Just thanks to Anita for all of that time that she put into the schools. Roll call, please.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Moving on to services and agreements, a motion, please.
I'll move.
Second.
Recommend to approve a payment in lieu of transportation agreement between Hicksville Exempted Village Schools and Shannon Stotler for the 24-25 school year. Recommend to approve services from David Klinker for onboard instructor, the OBI training for the 24-25 school year. Discussion?
Is the OBI, is that the bus?
Yes. And Cecilia Waters has completed her training and has an appointment scheduled to go take her test. So, yeah.
So anybody out there willing to be a bus driver?
Please.
Think about it. The plea is in. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Moving on to other business. Motion, please.
I'll second.
Recommend to approve resolution number 2025-03, authorizing the purchase of a 9-passenger 2024 Ford Transit van from Bus Service Incorporated through the Ohio Schools Council Cooperative at a cost of $75,505. No? Okay.
Holy crow, that's a lot for a vehicle.
Huh?
I said, holy crow, that's a lot for a vehicle.
They're great mimics.
Probably a better deal if maybe a truck is like more than a full-size truck.
Well, I don't know, some full-size trucks can cost.
That's what I'm saying, they're more than this.
So, I mean,
It's just
Through the cooperative program, the savings was about $3,000. So and that was, we didn't have to bid it out. The co-op actually bids it out and covers all those things. Plus, they bid out for multiple buses for districts throughout the state, or vans. So they were able to get a better rate. So anyways, that's why we went through the House Schools Council to get that discounted rate, even though it's still $75,000.
it's a chunk of change.
It is.
Roll call, please.
As soon as I get there, thought I'd marked that down.
Mr. Methvin?
Yeah, I go first.
Yeah, Methvin.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Got it. Another motion, please.
I'll move.
Thank you, Eric. Also, thank you, Heather. Recommend to approve a 3-day New York City trip for the class of 2025. The proposed date of travel is March 19th through March 21st of 2025. Any discussion?
I do not want to take that group.
Okay.
They're great kids. But I'm already taking them next summer for a different one.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, because then,
All right.
why double
I'll
up?
let Aaron do that. They're great kids. Yeah.
It'll be a grand time.
Angie's raising her hand. She wants to.
Actually, if you were going to go on that senior trip, this is an incredible group of kids, really. So I was just being silly.
You? Never. It must be the thespian in you. All right, so roll call, please.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Any old business that you would like to address?
Are we gonna?
Well, this is where you would want to talk a little bit about the work session that we
Yeah.
want to have in
Date,
December.
I thought that would be discussion, but yes.
Oh,
Could be either one. Nothing. I think it'd be a good idea for us to have a work session in December after our December meeting. And the topics we would touch on would be the ag program and our report card.
are we also gonna talk about long-term, like that 5-year, 10-year, like major purchases, I guess is what I was
I
thinking.
think that
Well,
might
That might be its own.
be its own regular
That can
meeting.
go on.
I would think.
But, when we focus on
Well, the ag is
smaller
gonna be-
topics, then,
Yeah.
we can have it. work sessions, our board meetings don't last very long, so to have a 30-minute work session is nothing really. I mean, remember when we used to be here till 9 o'clock?
As long as we don't have executive sessions, I think we'll be okay.
That's true. Yeah, we haven't had a 4-hour board meeting in a long time.
It's not so hard, dare you?
All right, we are not going into executive session, so.
I do have a discussion if we
Oh,
can.
I'm sorry, yeah, go ahead, Eric, I'm sorry.
Two things actually. So, first one is homecoming permission slips. Do our own students have to fill out a permission slip in order to go to homecoming? Okay, fair enough. And then the
There
other.
was some confusion with that, so.
Okay.
We're gonna go back. Yes, we're still to get their signature.
And it wasn't a complaint, I just heard about it about 10 years ago. And I was curious what led up to that, but I found it very under control. So. The other thing is there was, I think, a kindergarten field trip, and the parents, at least this is coming from a few different moms that, parents were told to dress your kids in like old jeans and tennis shoes or whatever, and so they did, no big deal. And I found out on Facebook they had left the school property and went to the nature trail. They were just caught off guard a little bit. They had no issues with going to the nature trail or doing any of that. They just thought it would have been nice to know that their kids were going to get on the bus and go somewhere for the day. So.
How long were they out there?
Yeah, the moms were caught off guard, so if we got the letter that to wear them clothes, in the letter it should have just said they will be going to the nature trail or whatever the case is. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Anything else? All right, so at the moment, the third Monday is November 18th. That would be our next regular meeting at 5:30, but I heard that perhaps some of you wanted to change that. Mike?
Yes, I'm going to be out of town, coming back probably sometime that day. And Keith is going to be out of.
I will not be back
You'll
that
be
day
out of town.
till the following day.
And I won't be in town on the 25th until 8 o'clock in the evening, so I won't be here on that Monday.
We can't do that
What about Tuesday?
More time.
I mean Tuesday the 26th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tuesday the 26th would work for me.
Yeah.
So are we good with Tuesday, November 26th being our next regular board meeting at 5:30? Okay. Then all I need is a motion and two. All right, Chairman Galen, and a second. I'll second. Tyler. And roll call, please.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. We will meet back here on Tuesday, November 26th. Thank you all.
That was great.
Thank you, guys.